All right guys, in today's video, I'm gonna show you why being able to take your lead wrist from a cupped to a flat position is the one thing that all good ball strikers do, and what you must do as well if you want a consistent, solid contact golf swing that shows up day in and day out for you. I did this with a recent student of mine. He went from very inconsistent, struggling with contact, hitting weak right shots, to bombing 8 irons, gained like 15 yards in one session. I'm gonna show you the drill I gave him, the feels, and how you can put this in your game as well to get your golf swing much more consistent like you want it. Let's go ahead and hop in. We'd like to thank Element for sponsoring today's video. People so often overlook hydration when in fact I'm like, hey, you lost all those shots at the end of your round because you were dehydrated. So for me, I've noticed since I started taking my hydration seriously that my ability to focus and focus for a longer period of time and really finish my rounds has increased dramatically. I've been a huge fan of Element since I first tried it over 2 years ago. It's a very tasty electrolyte drink mix, and it's formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio: 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, 60 milligrams magnesium, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. This is an awesome way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a friend. You can get yours at drinkelement.com/ecgolf, and the deal is only available through this link. If you're someone who's trying to improve your performance on the course, you cannot neglect how important it is to replenish your electrolytes. All right guys, so big video here today that can make a huge difference with your golf swing like it did for a recent student of mine. Listen, there's a lot of ways to swing a golf club, but there's a couple of things you must have in there if you want to consistently hit the ball solid day in and day out. And one of the top things you must have is the ability to take your lead wrist from a cupped position at setup to a flat position in the swing, and especially at impact. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I did with a recent student of mine that helped him with that. This gentleman came in to see me. We were hitting 8 irons. He was really struggling with contact, fats and thins. He was hitting the ball to the right, sort of weak contact, short right, and he wanted to hit the ball much more solid and farther. And what I noticed and what we talked about was at setup, he had his lead wrist cupped, right? His grip was fine, but at impact, he delivered that back in that cupped position. In fact, he never got rid of that cupped position throughout any part of his swing. He was cupped at setup, he was cupped at the top, he was cupped coming down, and guess what? He was cupped at impact. And when you're cupped at impact, that's gonna present you some problems in terms of club face management. When we look at good golfers, what they're able to do and what you need to be able to do, I'm gonna show you how to do, is how to get rid of that cup from the setup position throughout the swing so you can get into an impact position that gives you the chance to hit it much more solid day in and day out. Now, when I have my wrist cupped, right, at setup, my club face can still be in a square position. That's perfectly fine. But during the downswing, there's lots of things that happen. Primarily, my body's gonna rotate towards the target, and with that rotation towards the target with a handle that's forward, if I present that cupped wrist back at impact with my downswing body moves, that club face is gonna be too open. The toe is behind the heel, right? And when I actually get like that, it's gonna look more like this. There's gonna be no shaft lean. The club face is gonna be too open with too much loft. So think wrist cupped, bad, open club face, lots of loft. That's like a flop shot. Do you want that with a full swing 8 iron? Absolutely not. Now, if that's true, left wrist cupped, face open, add loft, bad, that would mean that left wrist flattening would be what? The left wrist flattening closes the club face and takes loft off. Now, if I'm able to close the club face and take loft off, is that something I would want to be able to do to get to a good impact with the irons, to hit them far straight solid? Everybody together? Yes, absolutely I want to do that. When I can take my lead wrist from cupped to flat, that gives me the ability to do all the good things through the ball that I want. Good shaft lean, good body rotation, good compression, etc. So the gentleman in my lesson, I said, listen, you're never getting rid of that angle that you set at impact. We can't have that. We've got to learn how to get that flat. So I said, okay, let's take your hands, let's put the club down for a second. This is what I want you to do with me. I said, put your hands together like you're doing a prayer drill and just pray to the golf gods that your golf swing is going to get fixed and everything's going to be amazing and you're going to play great golf. No, I didn't say that, but I did say take your prayer grip like this with your hands in front, okay, and get down to the golf ball with your hands together. Now notice when I do this, I've still got a little bit of a cup in my left wrist. Now our goal with this drill is to feel like I'm getting rid of that. Remember, anytime you have a problem, you have to feel the opposite and exaggerate. What's the opposite of the wrist being too cupped? Too bowed, too bowed. So here's what we're gonna do. Put your hands together, and I want you to go from a cup position. I'll give you some details on timing. I want you to get to the point where it's actually bowed at the top of the backswing. Literally do this with me right now. Put your hands in front with the cup, get to the top and bow it. You're gonna feel like your left wrist is beyond flat. It's actually arched or bowed, and the right wrist is bent back. I want you to do it by the top of the backswing, and then also when you're in delivery. See how it's still actually arched. If you drew a line down my forearm, it's bent back. Okay, and we'll show you some examples of this with players on the screen. So we did this to start just to give him a feel. And this is what you do just to get a feel. Bow it to the top, bow it coming down. Bow it to the top, bow it coming down. Now as we were doing this, he said, well, what are some other feels or external cues I can have? I feel like when I'm doing this, I'm kind of showing you my glove logo. I said, aha, that's exactly what we're doing. Show me your glove logo. And he said, well, when I come down, what should I do with it there? And I said, well, why don't you take that same glove logo and show it down to the ball? So prayer drill here. Show me the glove logo, show the ball. Show me the glove logo, show the ball, okay? And as you guys know, if you watch, I always like to do 2 rehearsals, 1 hit. I said, okay, let's take a club. Let's feel the same thing. Feel that prayer drill. Show me the logo, show the ball. Show me the logo, show the ball. And the goal here is to take that feel, exaggerate, and instead of an impact position with the wrist cupped, poor contact, now it's going to be more flat. I can get some shaft lean and compress the ball. So we went ahead and hit a shot with the same feels. Show me the logo, show the ball, prayer drill. And he hit a ball, and I would say it was probably like 50% better. And ironically, I'm not sure why, but when I'm giving a live in-person lesson, almost always on like the first ball or two, it gets about halfway better, which is great. Full swing, full speed, halfway better. Meaning his left wrist wasn't still cupped as much. It wasn't totally flat. It was about halfway there. So what do you think I said to him? Do we need to do something different, or do we need to do more of the same thing? More of the same thing. More meaning what? Meaning more exaggerated. And I say that because you're going to probably need the same thing. More exaggerated. You're going to need to feel like literally, holy cow, Eric, I'm going from here to that feels so bent back, it feels crazy. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then it feels, oh my God, right wrist, and it feels really bent back. The glove logo feels down. Perfect. Now take that same crazy feel. Let's put a club in, right? And do the same thing. Show me the logo, show down to the ball. And I'm going to give you a little caveat to this drill in a moment and show you what I gave him to practice. But start with the same feels with the prayer drill. Show me the glove logo, show the glove logo down to the golf ball. And as we were hitting shots like this, you know, again, I mean, we do this for an hour, basically the same drill. We were getting progressively better. His 8-iron went from about 135 yards to over 150 by the time we were done, 15-yard gain. And his contact, we probably got rid of 90% of the cup in the lead wrist by just doing this drill. And you could do this at home 20, 30 times a day. Take your setup, get it back to here. Feel the back of your left hand, your right palm away from you, down towards the ground. Away from you, down towards the ground. Now, once we were doing that, he was like, Eric, okay, cool, what do I do from here through the ball? And I'll show you some of the guys on the screen. I said, well, do I just take this and get the glove logo at the ball this way? Of course not, the club face is still open. You're gonna see like Xander Schauffele, probably John Rahm on here. From this position where the hands are in with the leg, there's quite a bit of actual arm rotation. That glove logo's gotta get back to the target and then back behind you. So get it down here towards the ground and ball, but you're not done. It's gotta continue going towards the target and then to the left. So just a little caveat with the club in there, glove logo away, down towards the ground. It's got to still get to the target and behind you. So that thing's got to have a little bit of rotation in there. That's okay. We'll do one more and then I'll show you the drill, little add-on I gave him. Logo away, logo down. And you should feel when you're doing that, if you're coming from the other side, much more compression. Remember what flattening the left wrist does. Closes the club face and it lowers the loft. So you hit the ball a little bit lower, more compressed farther, and less to the right, or more to the left compared to normal. So when we did this, he was gaining that distance, hitting it solid, but he was hitting some pull hooks. He's like, well, wait a minute, Eric, when I'm feeling this, that's closed in the face, I'm hitting pull hooks. Should I do less of that? I said, no, 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 no. We know we need to get your left wrist flat. The problem is because your face was open, and you might have the same issue, his club path was a little bit too far to the left. So if you're doing this and you're getting pull hooks, you might be overdoing it, but you also might have a path that's to the left. If the face is nicely square, and we're gonna swing from inside, right? If the face is nicely square, we wanna get the club path working from inside. Let me just give you a little add-on drill to make sure you're doing that as well. All right, guys, so quick add-on, again, if you're hitting the pull draw with this, I've got our classic little stick over the golf ball drill. You can see here we've done in previous videos. Just put a stick parallel to the ground, just short of a grip height above the ball, far enough back with the bucket that you would never hit it. But what this does from down the line is make sure as you're doing the prayer drill, flatten out the left wrist to close the face and de-loft it. You're also getting the club to work nicely from inside here. So just add this on if you're hitting the little pull hooks with it. I added this on for him. Same feels, make sure the club comes from inside. All right, guys, so after I gave him the prayer drill to be able to feel the wrist angles, we put the little stick in the swing from inside. I wanted to give him something that he could use at home, and I've tried a lot of different training aids to this point to help flatten the left wrist, and the hanger's still the best one. I mean, I've tried it for a couple of years, other good ones, but this is still the best. So I gave him the hanger. Now, when I set the hanger up, I like to set it up where it's angled a little. So it's just inside the right forearm or trail forearm. Now notice my wrist is cupped, and this is about an inch or so away from my forearm. The reason this is so beautiful is when I'm doing this, I want to get that on my forearm. When I flatten my left wrist, notice that gap is going to go away. So notice if I go from here to flatten it, see how that gets touching my forearm? So it gives me instant feedback. Absolutely love this. So I gave this, or had him order one. I didn't give it to him, but I had him order one of these so that when he practiced, he would give himself some feedback to know if he's doing it enough. So I'm going to hit one with this on. I'll give you just a little minor detail on how to use it. So it starts away from my left forearm. I'm going to get that on there and feel like I keep that on as soon as I start down. A couple little minor details that he asked that may be helpful. Number one, Eric, when do I get it on? When I'm doing the prayer grip, when do I do it? Different people do it at different times, and you're allowed to experiment. As a stock model, when you're doing the prayer grip, I would probably, and what most players do, it can stay cupped early in the takeaway. So it's mostly body, turning and tilting early, not getting rid of it. I'm getting it flat, really from the takeaway to the top, and then keeping it flat. Now, some players will keep it cupped to the top, cupped in transition, and curl it late. Other players, and most players, will get it flat to the top and keep it flat to impact. Some players cup it to the top, flatten it in transition. So you can play around with the timing. But generally speaking, I would keep it cupped early, then flatten it more. Leave it go early, lots of body during the takeaway, flatten it more. Just from a timing perspective. So when I've got the hanger on, and we sort of talked about this with him at the end with the hanger on, I would not have it touch my forearm during the takeaway. Then I'd get it there on the top, keep it on, keep it on. Again, the glove logo should be pointed to the left of me through impact. So logo away, logo down. Doing most of that from the takeaway to the top and in early transition. And that's about as good as I can hit an 8-iron. So listen, you have to be able to take your left wrist from cupped at setup to flat by impact. That's what the best players do. You've got some options in terms of when you do it. You can set it and forget it early, do it at the top, whatever. Most players will do it during the second half of the backswing and the first half of the downswing. Most players will do it during the second half of the backswing and the first half of the downswing. Try the prayer grip, try general feels. I like the hanger. You can try a plastic hanger at home. If you would like one of these, you don't have to hold it on the side of the club. We'll put a link with a little coupon code. You save some money on that, but do whatever you need to. Get the wrist angles right. You're gonna compress the ball much better. You'll thank me later. If you have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching.